Welcome to another night of terror here at the Fireside Tales. Tonight, once again, we will be traveling into the abyss of madness and staring into the eyes of death itself. Before I begin, I'd like to state that there are many stories here at the Fireside Tales that have to do with horror. Stories about people that discover they're actually puppets. Stories about teddy bears that come to life and try to kill their owners. Tonight's story is about a little girl by the name of Allison, and this is her journal. It's an extraordinary story, one that the Fireside Tales wanted me to present to you. So I'll be doing my best to translate this, story, because it is told by a little girl, so you'll just have to bear with me, but it's such an incredible story that I had to share it all with you, so if you'll just give me a moment to get the lights. I will be telling this story from her point of view. I'm not mad. I know that's what you're all going to think after I tell you this story. I mean, everyone seems to think I'm mad. My parents think I'm mad. My teachers think I'm mad. My friends all think I'm mad. But I assure you that I'm not. Oh, I know that crazy people often say that they're sane and all that, and denial is the first clue to insanity. But allow me to tell you my story from the very beginning. You see, as a girl, I have an obsession with ancient Egypt. I love all the stories about pharaohs, and stories about the gods Ra and Seth, stories about the Book of the Dead. Oh, I always dreamed of riding down the Nile or staring up at the Great Pyramids. Well, when Miss Gloffelty told us in class that, the tomb had been found with 3,000 mummies inside, and that next Friday we all would be going down to the museum and see one of the mummies personally, I couldn't have been more thrilled. I'd already known about the mummies, of course. I'd heard about it on the news, and I remember going to the house and singing and actually dancing with joy. But I had no idea what was about to happen. Anyways, the day of the field trip arrived. We came to the museum, Old Oak Museum, and I went in, and there was a man there, and his name was Mr. Munrundo. Mr. Munrundo said, "Hello, children. Welcome. We've got the mummy here, but we'll save that for the last part, and we've got plenty of other things." So they began to show us things about the Revolutionary War. Mr. Munrundo was a little bit of a strange person. He seemed to have an obsession with keeping everything tidy in the museum. And I was a little bit perturbed, and me and my friend Darwin laughed at his nerdishness. I have to admit, my friend Darwin, he was a bit of a troublemaker. He liked to, he liked to vandalize the place. He spray-painted the bridges and things like that. And he once let loose a whole bunch of rats into the classroom. But I liked him, because of his wickedness almost. And there was always something about him, something about his grin. His eyes, they were so devilish. But anyways, eventually we arrived, and we finally came to the mummy. And it was laying there, all wrapped up, and the man said, Mr. Munrundo, "Children, did you know that they used to extract the brain of the mummy through a little straw? It's true." I wasn't sure if it was true, but I just nodded my head at him. "Well, come on, class, let's go. It's about time to leave." Mr. Munrundo and the other children, they all left. And Darwin, he walked up to me and he said, "Hey, there isn't anyone else around. Why don't you go on? Take a piece of it." I looked at him. "Oh, Darwin, I don't know what you mean." "Go on. Take a piece of the mummy. There isn't any cameras. They must have just moved the exhibit in. You could steal a piece of history. Nobody's watching." Well, I looked over and I realized I did want a piece. I could have it forever. I could show it to my children. And I walked up and I said to myself, well, it doesn't really matter. It's only one piece. No one will even notice that it's gone. I reached down and I gently took off just the smallest piece of the cloth. And, well, that's where my trouble would begin. Anyways, I went home, and I got a big cardboard box, and I put the box underneath my bed. And I was very pleased with it, and I would check it every day. Well, everything went fine for a couple of weeks. Then one night, I was lying in my bed, and I heard a noise. I looked up, and there was a mummy, standing in front of me, right in the doorway. I couldn't believe it. I looked up at the mummy, and I let out a terrible scream. But the mummy had raised its hand, and I was transfixed. I realized I had to do something. I didn't know what to do! But I ran up, and I took the cardboard box, and I said, "Please, just take it! Take it! I'm sorry I stole it from you!" The mummy, he walked up, and he took the box, and he looked at me, and he reached down, and he took off a single piece of my hair. I didn't know what to make of it, but I just assumed that everything was fine, that the mummy had got a piece of me as I took a piece of it, and I went back to bed. Well, the next night I awoke, and there was standing a mummy in my doorway. And the mummy walked up, and he looked at me. And he took a piece of my hair again, and I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even scream. And then that mummy left. And then another one came, and it came up to me, and it took another piece of my hair. Every night, mummy after mummy came into my room and took another piece, every night, taking another little piece of my sanity. The teachers all think I'm crazy. My friends all think I'm crazy. But I know the truth. I'm losing my sanity, one little piece at a time. That's the story. Pretty much exactly as the diary tells it. Anyways, that is all for tonight. As always, sweet dreams, and good night.